Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Acacia Courtney. And it's a beautiful day in South Florida today. It actually feels like Florida once again.
Yes, it does. The warm weather has returned. We are sorry if you came for Pegasus the last week and it was a little bit cold. But if you're coming for the Holy Bowl this weekend, the good news is that it's absolutely gorgeous. We're in the mid-high 70s and looking forward to a great day of racing today as well.
Today as well. And as you mentioned, the Holy Bull card. Take a look if you haven't. It's a fantastic card from top to bottom. Sort of rivals the Pegasus card or thereabouts. Of course, 12 races with that first race posted 12 noon.
And I got to see some contenders this morning. Got a glimpse of Giant Game making his first start since the Breeders' Cup for Dale Romans. Looking great out on the track this morning at Gulfstream.
Yeah, you were behind on that horse.
Yeah.
Coming back, said he looks pretty good. So we'll see how that goes out. You know, today, what do we have? Of course, the Stronach 5. We'll talk about that. And we have $150,000 gross pool today in the Rainbow Six. Kicks off in race number 5 to 7. 10-race card today. I think it's the first 10-race card on a Friday in a while.
Yeah, we've been having 9, so make sure you keep an eye out for when that Rainbow Six does begin. We'll have 12 races tomorrow, 10 today. So when race 5 kicks off the Rainbow Six, and Ronnie will have a ticket. And I have a feeling I know what the price may be.
It might be $43.20, but I'm going to see Brian's the one that gets me every day. It could be $6 or $307. So let's look at his early Big 5 ticket.
You never know.
Let's check out his early ticket. No,
36, right in the middle. 6 to 307.
Yeah, he's got 3 deep here in race number 1, and he's got the logical contender Cajun Mandate.
Yep, a spread in race number 2 in the 3rd today. That's where Brian does single with the number 2 Calculated Breeze from Mike Gates. Showed speed against state-bred maiden special weight types and dropping down. 4th is tricky. Do you get around the drop-down runner for Todd, Bob Marco? We'll see what we get from him. 3 deep in there, and then 2 in the 5th. We're on the turf for the start of the Rainbow Six and the cash out of the early Pick 5.
Yeah, on the turf this afternoon, as I don't know if we did mention that at the top, but Fast, Firm, and of course the all-weather Tapita. Getting into this first race, it's going to be about 5.5 furlongs on the all-weather. Maiden claiming 3-year-old $16,000, and as I alluded, the current favorite, and both Acacia and I have some interest in, is Cajun Mandate, who goes to the Jose D'Angelo barn. So right away you go, well, let me pay attention here. Debuts on the Tapita, gets Lasix, set a pressured pace last time out. Yeah,
and it just feels like Jose D'Angelo is making every right move throughout the championship meet, as we've been saying. Picks up Luis Saez. They're 32% together at the meet. Not to mention the barn is good off the claim. I know that he's claiming from Mike Yates, very good with these Cajun Breeze offspring and dirt sprinters. But I think you have to look more to the race. 2 starts back. Last time out, as you mentioned, took some pressure and a quick pace. I just didn't really trust anybody else in this spot, to be honest, and this one looks to be the controlling pace.
Yeah, and you know, we both have, I think, the only horse that I figured for me at least was the 4 Unified Conquest, who's wheeling back, rallied to finish 3rd at this level and distance on the all-weather. Julian Leperoux in the saddle today. Then it gets pretty wide open after that.
I agree. I thought Unified Conquest made sense off that last race. I think the wild card is the number 7, Structural Damage. He was a first-time starter, but would have to have some running shoes on, I think, to beat the 8.
Yeah, listed as a gelding, and when you get the changes from Pete in a little while, he would tell you that first time, well, the only time you could be a gelding, actually. Second
From now on.
Second race. Yeah, I've never seen second-time gelding. Second race this afternoon, 5.5 furlongs. Now we're going to the fast main track. Claim is fillies, 3-year-olds, 12-5. 1 scratch in here of the number 6, Renee's Dream Girl. And you did go with the number 4 horse in here. I did not have this one on my ticket.
Long shot play of the day.
Oh, there you go.
Long shot. Hanita's Empire dropped down in class for Antonio Sano and picks up Jose Ortiz. I think this one is really intriguing. This feels like a Antonio Sano type of race to me. But that being said, I think this one had trouble 2 starts back and actually ran okay. Yes, it was a disappointing effort last time out, but that'll make it some dirtied up form. Showed some speed when breaking her maiden back in December on opening weekend. And yes, didn't beat much that day, but I don't think there's too much in here that I really trust so much. I thought it was a good race to potentially look for some value. And I think while some of the other ones need to be from pretty far off of it, this one has the ability to be up close, and I like to see Jose riding.
Yeah, and that's the way the track has been playing. I want to go back and revisit a couple of horses that ran last time out, one being Kingston Queen and the other one being She's Reckless, who I have on top of my ticket. You're going to just see them. I picked them up turning for home. You'll see She's Reckless as she comes into the turn, sort of drifts out here. And I think that cost her, maybe a little. You had to get her back into the race here. And, of course, the Kingston Queen did all the work and was 30-1 that day. So I thought I flip-flop them around a little bit. I put She's Reckless on top, who's going to the main track. For Larry Ravelli, I just thought this one 37% with second start. After this type of layup, this horse would improve today.
I don't trust her at all. She certainly could win. She absolutely could win. But for me, it is very tough. Yes, Kingston Queen could potentially be the lone speed in here today, wiring from the inside, but she's hard to trust, winning at 30-1 last time out. And then, even though she did win that race, the races prior to that were relatively disappointing. She's Reckless. Not only did she blow the turn, as you saw in that race, but then she flipped back to her left lead. She looked really kind of reticent or responding to the rider's cues. It is a plus side that Irad Ortiz stays aboard after riding her last time, too, for Larry Ravelli. And certainly you can't discredit this barn. But off of that effort, she's a little bit tough to trust, which is why I thought this was a good race for a long shot.
That's right. What about the 21 short? I know you had a stat on this horse.
Yeah, stat for the barn, Juan Avila. It's been tough at the meet with a lot of in-the-money finishes. However, Allowance to claiming on the dirt is a strong move for the barn. So we'll see if this can help turn things around. 3 for 10 winning, 7 for 10 in the money, and it is an even $2 ROI. But I thought it was good to see as this one gets Lasix as well. The race 2 back was really strong with a 56 Beyer speed figure, so we'll see if she can run back to that on the drop.
I'm looking at the doubles that we have on the screen now. Looks like your 4 horses taking a little bit of money in there. So yeah, so we'll see how. Well, not the second or
it's
third.
Early yet.
Second or third choice, very early in the waging. Just was wondering, but you made a great point. Good spot to pick a long shot. Race 3 on the fast main track again. 5.5 furlongs. Maiden claiming 3-year-olds. 25 down to 20 in this race. And what you went with the number 4 horse in here, Inevitable Me, who's the son of Ocean Night by Curling.
Yeah, very interesting. Ocean Night by Curlin, Florida bred, debuting for Dave Fox. I wanted a firster. I did think it was interesting. Calculated Breeze drops after running actually quite well, I thought, on debut. Now, we did see Gloucester come back and be defeated yesterday, so maybe it shows not to put so much stock in the quality of that maiden special weight race, and a drop makes sense. But I thought a live firster could be intriguing in here. This one's been working pretty sharply. Last couple of workouts, the last 3 works have been out the gate, which I typically don't love, but for this level, I'm hoping that means they've really been working on it, and I do like that Luis Saez takes the call.
Yeah, I mean, they were sharp works. Luis Saez, as you mentioned, the barn is 18% with maiden claimers. Calculated Breeze, as you alluded to, is dropping to the 25 level, so that's a bit of a concern. Set the pace last time out. The weekend finished third. That was state-bred special weight runners, and you're right, why the drop in here. Mike Yates, just an excellent trainer, just been having a tough meet. He's got a lot of seconds and thirds at the meet. Maybe that's the reason for the drop, but that's just me surmising something,
No.
We did have a scratch in here of the 5, too.
Right, scratch of the 5, so we have a shorter field, and I thought the firsters were intriguing. There's another first-time starter for Jorge Delgado in the 3, and then you have the one at Mitzico who does drop in class as well.
Well, let's go to race number 4 this afternoon. We're going to stretch it out to 1 mile on the main track for these 3-year-olds, $25,000 down to $20,000. And we both went with the number 1, Bob Marco, who has his claimant tag sliced right in half today.
I really tried to go against this horse today, Ron, and I just couldn't. I mean, these are the types of horses that Todd Pletcher just seems to win with as well. You try to guess why are they dropping in class, and I think sometimes you just see the outfit say they're not exactly the types of horses that we are looking for right now, but they're very useful horses as well. It doesn't mean anything against them. It was a slow race on debut. He did finish a distant second, but he ran up for second. And it was interesting because if you look back at that race, he kind of dropped out and then came back a little bit. So I'm not quite sure what to expect from him. I thought physically in his debut, he looked well met. Colt by Arrogate will try to improve running for the lower tag.
Yeah, Luis Saez in the saddle, and Todd's, over 20% with maidens making their second start. But always, and you're absolutely right, because most trainers, when they do this, should say, I'm going to pass on this horse. You do that with Todd, you're in trouble. The number 7, Union Freedom, is another from one of the 2 of the horses in here from Ralph Nix, trying a 1-turn mile after returning from a 3-month layup, finished third. against its stablemate, who we'll be talking about in a moment. That's Awesome Crusader.
Yeah, I thought of the two of them. This one had recent experience or any experience at all going the mile 2 starts back and actually ran quite well. Last time was sprinting and was defeated by his stablemate, but I know that this one can handle the distance, whereas Awesome Crusader is trying the distance for the first time. However, the pedigree would certainly say that he could handle it by Greenpoint Crusader. I've only seen a couple of them on the track by this stallion, and the damn Awesome Bell was good going long on the dirt.
Well, Ralph Nix, 30% at the meeting. He's having a great meeting, and he's 23% with horses going from 2 sprints to a route. So maybe Awesome Crusader, as you mentioned, should, as far as breeding go, get the distance. But Bob Marco, we'll see what happens. And you just know, even if you don't put Bob Marco on top of your ticket, you have to use it.
I agree. I think so,
that's
too.
For sure. We're going to take a short break, and we'll come back with my $23.20 Rainbow Six ticket.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Round off first inside. Race. And a quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. It's last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron and Acacia, race number 5 on the turf, 1 mile turf claimer for 4 and up. And as we said, we'll show you my Rainbow Six ticket and $43.20. If you didn't hear that when we were going off the air there.
Ron said he wanted it to be a surprise for everybody.
We'll talk about this race. Got my long shot right there. The number 2, Toretto, I believe, is 15-1 on the morning line. I'll tell you why I like that horse. And then race number 6, this one I had to use all 3. I didn't know what to do with Piggott. $2.2 million son of Curlin, but it's Todd Pletcher. Silver Spar, Invisible War. Race number 7, got 2 in there with the straight shot, Etched in Stone. And boy, race number 8 today, wide open affair. Best one for me was Ready to Film. And waiting for both these Todd Pletcher horses to run today in American Icon and Ironworks. Couldn't separate them, so I used both. And in the last race, my best bet is the 9 Elusive Uncaptured, but I used Conundrum Queen also on the ticket. So
I like it.
Well, here's why I like Toretto. I'll start it off with my long shot today, 15-1 on the morning line. Dropping, first of all, to this level and encountering traffic at the Furlong pole. In fact, we'll show you this. We're going to pick this horse up, running pretty good throughout the race the last time out. So the number 2 Toretto, you'll pick it up right here. And you'll see coming to the... Well, if they came close up, let's see where Bob picked it up from here. You see Toretto, the number 4 horse in here, and just gets totally shut off. But this horse was fighting, you'll see, no chance in that race, and was okay throughout the whole race. So was running good in there. And I just thought, for Michelle Nihei, Luca Panici, this horse deserved another shot. I knew I was going to get a price on this horse because if you didn't go back and look at that, it was just eliminated in the stretch.
Yeah, and to be fair, I do think that he was kind of leveling off that way. But any chance he would have had to go on was completely taken away at that point. But I like it. This horse is going to be a great price. Broke his maiden nicely off of a layoff back in September. So certainly, I think makes sense, and I thought this was a really wide open race. I did go to the 7, another Duke, who comes back down to the 35 non-winner of 2 level, and the big reason is that I thought that the turf race he ran into back was really live. Kobla Moss came back with a 91 buyer speed figure in his next start. Bohemian Boy came back to win as well. This was a very, very live race that he ran 3rd in, and yes, he does have to come as a closer in here, but I thought Propensity is certainly going to be the main speed, and we'll see if anybody will try to take it to him. That's why I ended up including Propensity in my top 3, even though I don't love him, as I think he's the controlling speed in this race.
Yeah, it's such a wide open race, and once again, like your long shot earlier, I thought it was a good chance to take a shot in here. I know you used number 10 tackle, who was cutting back to the mile, losing that stretch stool when beating the nose against Simler, going a mile in the 16th on the grass for Mike Maker.
Yep, that was in the same race that Propensity comes out of, and this one's been knocking on the door in the last couple. Mike Maker actually has 2 in here. The number 11, Dreaming of Jerry, is the other one, and this one's 7-2 on the line, and neither of you nor I had much interest in him in here, but I thought he was one that could potentially take some attention. I did think that this stat was interesting, though, as Mike Maker, first off the claim, going dirt to turf at Gulfstream. The numbers are okay. He's 5 for 27, winning 19%, and half of them nearly finish in the money, but it's a negative ROI of 114. This horse has run twice on the turf before. The most recent was a second, yes, at Penn National, but it was a 38 Beyer speed figure. So we'll see how this horse handles the grass, but I think it's important to kind of dig a little deeper too, and not just say, oh, this is Mike Maker going to the turf. It's a one that's going to improve immediately.
One other horse I had some interest in, I love the fact that we're going to make some money. Somebody's going to make some money in this race. Ricochet, listed as a gelding, is back on the turf. He returned from the layoff. He finished that set the pace and fade 8th against 25 optional claimers, going that mile in the 16th on the all-weather. He's a son of temperature. He was competitive with Allowance Company on the turf in Kentucky. I think he's spotted perfectly for the 35 condition claiming level.
Yeah, he's very intriguing. This is a really tough race, and there's plenty of horses that could potentially take a step forward or who could get an interesting kind of pace flow in here, too.
Let's go to race number 6 this afternoon. 7 furlongs, maiden special weight, 4-year-olds and upward. And I think, does Brian have his late pick 5 here?
Yes.
Yeah. Always 9, 10 races. I got to count. I run out of fingers. He's got a nice $24 ticket now.
$24 ticket here. He's 3 deep. Not trusting the Todd Pletcher first-time starter Piggott either, who does debut at 7 furlongs, but using him 2, 3, 8 in the opening leg, and then a 2-horse spread in the rest of those races. Tough to separate. Brian also using the 2 Todd Pletcher horses in the 9th, American Icon Ironworks. Really looking forward to that matchup a little bit later on.
Yeah, very affordable, $24 ticket. And I am very curious to see if you did use number 3 Piggott on top of your ticket. As we mentioned, a $1.2 million son of Curlin.
Yeah, he's the half-brother to multiple graded stakes winner Motown. I watched some of the recent workouts on XBTV, and the most recent one at Palm Beach Downs was in company with Vindictive, who is a 4-year-old just like Piggott. It's taken Piggott a while to get to the racetrack, but Vindictive was 3rd in the Discovery. He's stakes placed. He's run some big races. He's more seasoned. This one was keen inside. Always looked to be going a little bit better, actually, than that more seasoned mate, and looked like a big, long, stretchy type. So debuting at 7 furlongs is not easy. I think he should be up to the task, and on pedigree, you would think would actually want a little bit longer.
Yeah, and you got 9 works into him at Palm Beach Downs, so you think he'd be ready. We got the same exactor in here with the number 1 Silver Sparrow. Showed promise sprinting here before going to the sidelines in November. Stretches out to the 7 for Saffy Joseph Jr. You know how good he is with this type of layoff. This $200,000 to $70,000 center anchor down may have tipped his hand with that 5 furlong bullet in 59 flat.
Yeah, very quick. And typically the horses from this barn will work pretty quickly in the morning coming into their races. But this one freshened up for Saffy. I think you can be forgiving of the last race. It was on a wet track as well. So we'll see if he can turn things around today. The number 8 in here, Invisible War, cuts back in distance for Mark Cassey. He certainly has the foundation. It's just 0 for 7 already.
Yeah, I'm running on the West Coast with that horse, Irada Ortiz Jr. in the saddle today. But a pretty nice race there. Race number 7 this afternoon, 6 furlongs, claimers 4 and up. Non-winners of 2 in life or a race since August 4th. So it's a dated claimer, condition claimer, 35 to 25. Did have a scratch in here of Big Daddy Dave. So once again, well, we're almost in agreement here. We'll start with your number 6, Etched in Stone. He's making his local return for Larry Ravelli.
And it's funny because I was comparing Straight Shot and Etched in Stone, the 2 to the outside, and they're frankly a little bit similar, as they both had some layoffs to deal with. This one had a little bit of a layoff, though, coming in from some turf sprints. Ran okay at Hawthorne last time out, but drops in class today coming in here. Just felt like that was a logical spot. And what I was encouraged by with this horse is that he has the ability to kind of be up in the race, whereas Straight Shot seems to run his better races when he's closing from off of it.
Yeah, drop it to this level today. We're talking about Straight Shot after 3, finishing the board in 3 of 5, 62,500 optional claimers on the Kentucky circuit for Ian Welks, Louis Sayers, They're tough to separate. You're right. They look a lot alike.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is Straight Shot, I think, has the class edge, given the fact that he faced Sir Alfred James, and Silver State, you know, in his last couple of races. So obviously he was facing tougher. This could be a chance to kind of get back on track. And then with the scratch of Big Daddy Dave, I thought Inter Miami could be the main pace setter in here.
Yeah, stretching out today, you know, and making the third start of his current form cycle. Looks like he's going to be maybe on the pace this afternoon. Race number 8 is about a mile, 70 yards on the all-weather surface this afternoon, and it's a starter optional claimer for 3-year-old fillies. Start for 16, or the optional tag is 16. And you went with the number 8 horse in here, Amazing Queen, who goes to the Bill Reno Spar.
Yeah, she was good to me last time. She won as my long shot at 7-1. So I have a little bit of a soft spot with this filly. But I thought it was interesting that Bill Sereno's claimed her. So we've been talking a lot about some of these Woodbine trainers who have a familiarity with the Tapeta surface, maybe bringing horses down here to run on Tapeta. But clearly this would be a horse that he's thinking, I can bring her back up to Woodbine. So that's what I thought was really interesting. And she has greatly improved since switching surfaces and running on this Tapeta. So she obviously has found her home, and Junior Alvarado picks up the mount.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and just show you this horse's last race. And what I liked about it, you're going to see there's Amazing Queen, who's the number 5 that day. And if you look when they turn it for home here, just look at the fractions of this race. You know, 25.4, 51.3. I mean, they are going slow, and this horse was still able to close. And as you mentioned, your long shot that afternoon, so it was a nice performance. And I think just sitting on another top one today. I did go with the 6 Ready to Film myself, who's debuting on the local Tapeta after finishing 2nd and 3rd respectively when facing 32 optional claimers on the Tampa turf. Interesting move with this horse. Gerald Bennett, Paco Lopez doling out her speed on the all-weather surface today.
Yeah, it is intriguing, and I would say ready to film, named after you. You're always ready to film.
I was born ready.
I like it.
Yeah, so, you know, on there, and Paco Lopez certainly on the front runner is always dangerous.
Absolutely. I also included the number 1 Paintbrush, who finished 3rd behind Amazing Queen in that race that we showed. And it was disappointing because she was on top of that slow pace. But she won last time out from an outside post, and she is now first off the claim for Antonio Sano.
The number 2 Science Friction is going back to the Tapeta and getting Lasix after turning on the afterburners last time out. Defeated those 20 claimers going a 1-turn mile on the main track. This horse
Turning on the afterburners?
Something right there. Armando De La Cerda keeps it light. Got the 7-pounder Prentice Franklin Calais going for 2 in a row.
Yeah, big performance last time out. Is stepping up to face tougher today.
Yeah, you know, and that was on the dirt last time out, so you have to keep that in mind. So here's what we've been waiting for. I mean, a lot of people have been waiting for this race this afternoon. 1 mile allowance optional claimer for 3-year-olds. Optional tag of 75,000. Did have a couple of scratches in here of the 1 graphic detail and the number 4 horse, Mr. Boom Boma. So these 2 horses out of the race. Interesting to see. We both went with American Icon. So before we get into, let's go back and just show you first I want to show the start of this race, just how sharply this horse breaks. So I wanted to pick it up coming out of the gate, and just we'll look at number 8 American Icon here, and you're just going to see on the outside draw, and just goes right out and gets the lead, you know. And then you know, the rest of it, when I show you through the stretch, it's just a beauty shot. I just thought this horse was so sharp that afternoon. You're going to see here just cruising through the stretch, and it just shows him the stick and draws off.
Yeah, geared down. And I thought it was interesting, too. And I know you shouldn't read too much into it because Irad Ortiz obviously rides a lot of good horses for Todd Fletcher as well. But Luis Saez rode both of these horses in their debuts, American Icon and Ironworks. And Luis Saez stays on American Icon. Again, Irad Ortiz ride Life is Good, and Colonel Leo, he rides a lot of Todd's very good horses too. So wouldn't read too much into it, but I agree. I thought that was just a superb performance and done easily for American Icon. I do think, however, Ironworks will really like getting to go a little bit more ground today.
Yeah, let's go back and show you this horse's performance. We're going to pick it up from the 8-pole home when he just wins by 4 lengths in here. But he, like you said, he tracked. He's he stalked early and he drew clear late, as you can see right here. He'll win his maiden special weight debut. That's going 3/4 of a mile. big son of distorted humor, $550,000 son of distorted humor, and there's where Irad is today.
Yep.
I don't know how much stock you put into that. You're exactly right.
Right, but this one won so easily, too, and even my notes from his debut were that he will go longer. That was certainly a good race to get foundation and just did it so easily. The 2 Todd horses look very tough to beat. Beyond that, I thought that the 10 Super Legacy from Mark Cassie, who has a touch of class, he had a really troubled trip in the display, 2 back on the Tapeta at Woodbine, ran in the Grade 1 Summer on the turf. So this is his first race on the main track, but I think he has some class to bring.
And the number 2, In Due Time, is stretching out to the 1-turn mile today after rallying to finish 3rd behind a couple of really nice horses in Dean's List and Dean Delivers last time out. So maybe the stretch out, you're dealing with 2 big horses from Todd here. We got Try, we got Super. Yep. Maybe this one grabs his share.
Yeah, certainly. And he should be, I think anybody besides the 2 Todd horses will be a nice price in this race.
Well, let's go to the last race this afternoon. Great day when you end the day on the turf, Fred. So this one is a 1-mile maiden claimer. Fillies and mares, $25,000. And you're going to start it off in here with the number 8, Blue Twirling, who's going back to the turf.
Yep, going back to the turf, started out on the turf in her first couple of races. This is a filly by Air Force Blue. Last 2 races were disappointing, but they were after that extended layoff, and they were both on Tapeta. And I think going back to the turf should be interesting. Plus, she has some natural speed and gets a drop in class.
I like the number 9 in here, Elusive Uncaptured, and I'll tell you why. This one showed speed and finished 3rd in the previous turf race at the $25,000 level, so you have to go down the past performances to find that. Going back to the grass after turning from the layoff to finish, I thought a screw-tightening second as the favorite against those 16 maidens going 5.5 on the all-weather Tapeta surface. Daughter of Uncaptured can be in the first flight, playing catch me if you can, and speed has been excellent on this turf course.
And what do you do with Conundrum Queen? She really is a bit of a conundrum. Yeah, I mean, debuted in August of 2020 at Saratoga. We didn't see her again until March of 2021. Now she comes back February 2022. It's just her requisite 1 race a year. So let's see what we get from her. I'm sure it's been a frustrating journey for all the connections.
And George Weaver good with long layoffs. He's like 25%, so you have to do it. I also use your 8 Blue Twirling. What about the 1 horse in here, Soupster?
Soupster I thought was interesting, dropping in class, only sprinted on the turf up in New York, but again, facing a little bit better and dropping in for the $25,000 today.
Well, that's how we see the 10-race card, and as you can tell, it's going to be a lot of fun, at least for us two, because we always have a lot of fun.
Yes, we do.
And here we're going to tell you about our lightning round, which is very exciting today, because the Stronach 5 is back today, and what it paid, $4,000, whatever it pays every week. And there you see the sequence. We got 2 races here, our 8th race and that 9th race this afternoon, the one with the 2 Todd Pletcher horses in there. So if you put the ticket together, if you can only use 2 in there, or maybe use 1 if you like one of those Todd Pletcher ones. So
Stronach 5, always a lot of fun. Low takeout, 12%. It's a $1-based wager. As Pete Aiello says, it's your one-way ticket to Overlay City, and best of luck if you're playing. Kicks off just a little bit before 4 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, up there at our sister track, Laurel. And of course, each and every Saturday, we have Beat the Expert. And guess whose turn it is? Mine. So let's see if you can beat me next week. And, it's great to have it on Holy Bull Day, because we got 5 nice stakes in it. So make sure you play. It's such a lot of fun. You get a chance to win one of those cool polo shirts.
You look very confident there. Yeah, I like it.
I'm ready. Bring it on is what I'm saying in my mind. I'm not really. I don't know what I was saying. But we had, yesterday was Thursday.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, and any given day here at Gulfstream Park, you can see a couple of beautiful horses run. And one of those was King Cab right here.
King Cab, who was my long shot of the day, who got bet down at 3-2. I finished on the left lead, but this was only the 3rd start of his career. He was coming back. He broke his maiden so well first time out for Eddie Plisa, then tried Octane in the Florida Sire Stakes, then was sidelined for a while. So it was exciting to see him come back and finish like that.
He was tipped more than the maitre d' at Christine Lee's yesterday. Everybody in the world knew about it, and it was a case that happens all the time. So very impressive. I think the time was 1:21 and 3 or something like that. Got an 88 buyer for that race there. But there was another really nice horse coming off the bench yesterday, and that was Past the Champagne.
Yeah, I'm sure the champagne was flowing last night as well. Good to see her come back for a start since the Kentucky Oaks for George Weaver. And this was a horse that we saw finish just ahead behind Malathot going into the Oaks, too. I mean, obviously she's got a lot of class. class. Came back at 7 furlongs, a little bit leg weary, but I'm sure this is just a race building up for bigger and better things throughout 2022 for a talented filly.
Yeah, it really sets up perfectly for our future down the road, stretching it out and everything like that. So, like I said, any given day you could see, not only that, you might see the Kentucky Derby winner tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so good luck with all your selections. We'll be back here for race number 1. No, first we'll go to Peter Hale, then we'll be back.
I remember the first time I came to Gulfstream, it was like this big fairy tale place.
We back.
Northern Dancer, winner of the Florida Derby.
Yeah.
All the history, all these great horses, trainers, jockeys.
It is Barbaro to the final furlong. He is a neck in front. Barbaro wins!
It was everything that I ever dreamed of.
Sunday silence surges to the front.
First day, opening day of championship meet, I was kind of starstruck. You're watching LeBron James, and then next thing you know, you're playing basketball against him. That's how I felt when I'm riding with Donnie V, riding with Irad, Luis.
So many famous people come, Post Malone, Pharrell, J-Lo was there. It's epic.
The weather is beautiful. The facility is phenomenal.
It's all about Knicks Go. Knicks Go makes it 4 in a row.
It's one of the most beautiful tracks in the country, surrounded by some of the greatest horses and riders. It's amazing.
I'd always had a really deep love of animals. When I started riding, I felt that instant connection. It was this horse, Siren, that she was a thoroughbred, she'd been on the racetrack. It really shaped me growing up because I had to learn how to be confident, but I also had to be compassionate. And she really was that first love I had of a horse.